Hey everybody, Shabba Nobody Else's Auto. We are here at an amazing place, the Harold Wart Pioneer Village Museum in Minden, Nebraska. The history of man from the 1830s on up to present day, all in chronological order. Whether it's a train or a toaster, it's here in the order of its development. Now, if you're on my channel here, you're probably here because you like old cars and trucks. This museum has an amazing collection, over 300 cars and trucks on the grounds, and it has a little bit of everything. And in this video, we have a very, very unique opportunity. Something that you don't get to see very often, and they happen to have it right here in Minden, Nebraska, so we can check it out. A Henry J, a Kaiser Henry J, sitting right next to its sister car, the Sears and Roebuck Allstate. Which is kind of crazy. These cars are really neat little cars, and as we take a step back and kind of look at them overall, if you look at the roof lines and the windows and the doors and everything, they pretty much look similar. Reason being, they were. If you walked into your Kaiser dealer in the early 50s and you wanted a small compact car, you got the Henry J. If you wanted to order your new car out of the Sears and Roebuck catalog, which back in that day, Sears and Roebuck catalog was a big, big deal, about that thick. If you ordered your new car out of the Sears catalog, you got the Allstate. Same thing, different trim, a few other modifications, but essentially the same car. So let's check these things out. Having both of them right here beside each other to be able to compare them is not something that happens very often, which is what is so amazing about this collection at the Harold Wart Pioneer Village Museum in Minden, Nebraska. This little Kaiser Henry J looks like it was a vagabond. It looks like the V was broke off the emblem. We see the little tiny little Kaiser caps on it with the K on it. And these were a small compact car, available with a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder. But they were pretty basic. Not really much for options. Kind of plain, had kind of a unique grille, but they didn't have a lot of other stainless trim on them. Just basically the grille, the headlights, and the front bumper. Doesn't have trim on the hood. Doesn't have a lot of trim on the sides of it. Pretty much a basic little car. Smaller engines, better fuel economy. As we come around the back, we can take a look. You know, the quarter panel isn't even very big. You can almost touch tip to tip on the quarter panel. Now, you think in the early 50s, 52, 53, 54, a Cadillac, the quarter panel of a two-door Cadillac was almost 8 feet long. This one you can almost touch tip to tip. So definitely much shorter, very basic in the back, almost kind of a fastback design on the back of these little cars. And not only did it have the fastback design, it had the the unique Kaiser dip in the window. Very, very common design trait on Kaisers was that dip in the window. Be it a full-size car, be it the Henry J, and sometimes even on the front and the back, they had that dip in the window. This one happens to be broken, but it did say Henry J on the back of it. Very basic taillights. Those are the stock taillights, just a basic round, about 3-inch taillight, a small peak on the fender, and just a basic bumper bar. No big fancy trunk handles, no big fancy bumper guards, not a lot of fancy trim around the windows. A very, very basic car. You can kind of see in the back here, had some storage back here. This one did have a trunk. Not all Henry J's had a trunk lid. This one did have a separate trunk lid. Inside, we can see these things once again, very basic. You look at the dash and you had a speedometer cluster, and that's about it. No radio, no other accessories, just pretty much your basic little car. So that was the Kaiser Henry J. So say I don't want to buy it from Kaiser. I'm just going to order it out of my Sears catalog, which is crazy to think. You know, in today's world of online shopping, everybody does all their shopping online. Well, back in the day, you had a big, huge Sears catalog. You flipped through it, you filled out an order blank, you sent in a check, and Sears sent you your stuff. Whether you needed new underwear or a new car, Sears would send it to you. So let's check out the Sears and Roebuck version of the little Kaiser Henry J. They branded it the Allstate. And we can already tell from right here it's a little bit fancier. They had separate park lights. They had a couple of bars in the grill. So we do have a little bit more trim. I don't know if that's a factory hood ornament or not, but they did have a little more trim, even with the Allstate badge on the front of the hood. Now here was on what it says about the Allstate is that there were several differences, up to 60 modifications, grille, nameplates, upholstering, things like that. But essentially the exact same car. Now this one does have an outside sun visor on it. That was an added accessory. I don't know if that was a factory visor or an aftermarket, but that is something that has been added. But as we look at the body lines and look at the shape, it is all pretty much the same car. So let's squeeze around over here on the other side and take a little better look at this Allstate. So as we come through here and we kind of look towards the back of this Allstate, we still see the similar shape of the quarter panel. We still have the little peak back there. Let me see if we can kind of squeeze around the back of this one. This one also has a trunk lid on it, and it does have a different type of badge on it if we can get back here and see it. It is pretty tight quarters in here, but there's the Allstate on the back of this car. And also, it also has the dip in the back window, just like the Henry J did, because these were the same body, essentially. Now inside of this Allstate, this was actually, for one of these cars, pretty fancy. Now we notice on the Henry J, there was no glove box door, no radio, no nothing, just basically the dash cluster. Now this Allstate, not only does it have a glove box door, it's got a chrome emblem on it, it's got a radio in it, and even the radio says Allstate right on it. And if we look under the dash, it even had a heater. So definitely a little bit fancier version of the basic Henry J. So really excited to be able to bring this to you. You just don't see them. We see some Henry J's occasionally. To see an Allstate and a Henry J both sitting here right beside each other, to be able to compare them, look them over, check out some of the differences, look at the differences in the nose, look at the differences in the stories of these cars is a pretty unique opportunity. That's why I love coming here. That's why I love the Harold Warp Pioneer Village Museum in Minden, Nebraska, because the opportunities like this that you get to see and compare these cars sitting right beside each other. Now, fortunately, they're kind enough to us to let us behind the rails so we can give you a good look at these things, to be able to open the doors, look inside of them, and see the fact that the Allstate, this Allstate came with a radio and a heater, and the Henry J, this Henry J at least did not even have any of that stuff added onto it. So pretty cool deal. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned. We got a lot more cool stuff coming up from here. We're picking out a few special cars to shoot today that we're going to share with us. So be sure to check out the channel. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to check out the playlist for the Harold Warp Pioneer Village Museum in Minden, Nebraska, and check out some of the cool stuff here. And definitely put it on your list. Get to Minden, Nebraska. Check out this collection. And they literally cover everything. Obviously, the cars and trucks are what we love, and they have an amazing collection of that, but they cover everything from in the history of man, from kitchen appliances and utensils all the way up to trains. You don't want to miss it. Definitely hope you enjoyed this video. We got a lot more cool stuff coming from here. Stay tuned. Be sure to check out that playlist. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned. We got a lot more cool old cars coming for you.